What's up, everyone? I'm Chelsea. That's Bronx. And today I wanted to do a video over some common misconceptions about mental health. So here we go. All right, so as you may know, I've got a couple things going on upstairs that are actually more common than a lot of people think. Anxiety is one of the largest growing mental health disorders that there have been in I don't know how many years, but it is very common, and you see it in a lot of the most unexpected places. A lot of people think that people with anxiety have to fit in this box, like, you know, if you have anxiety, you can't be outgoing or this or that. And the same thing with depression and PTSD, to be honest. I suffer from all three of those things. And what I find to be funny is when I go and meet people and I tell them that I have depression and I tell them that I have anxiety, they're like, "You? No, not you. You're so outgoing and da 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 da." I know, I'm fire. But no, it's true. I struggle with a lot of the things behind the scenes that people don't see. One thing that I happen to do is when I don't feel well, you will not see my ass outside. I like to think that I'm just coming out of a depressive episode, but ever since October started, oh my gosh, I have been in the house almost nonstop. It's been a slow month for me as far as dog training. I don't have that many clients right now, so in the time that I have off, I sit in this apartment, and it's bad because I sit in here all day. I binge watch TV. That's fun, not gonna lie. But I'm always, thinking what I should be doing, what I could be doing, what is wrong with me. And honestly, I'm still dealing with, the depressive episode now. I still have my times where I just go into complete isolation. I will go into the room and just not come out. So, like I said, people have a hard time believing that somebody that's as bubbly and charismatic as I like to think that I am can struggle, and it is the absolute truth. So what's really weird about it for me is going through it. Since I don't leave the house, Bronx doesn't leave either. So we go out and potty and stuff. Well, he goes to potty outside, but we're not going to stores and we're not going to talk to people and XYZ all the time. So it makes the re-entry into normal life really scary for me, because I'm like, Bronx hasn't been in public for a whole month and blah 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 blah. Now my dog's awesome, he's not gonna do anything crazy, but me with my anxiety, I'm like, he needs to be in a perfect heel and he can't be further than 2 inches from my body when we're walking, all this stuff that comes along with having anxiety. So for me, it's just realizing that I have it, which might sound crazy, but a lot of people don't really know that they have anxiety. One thing that I do is I'm always like, something's wrong with me. This isn't normal. It is very normal. All you got to do is look on the internet. Any Google search of anything, you will see a shit ton of people tell you that they deal with things that are very similar to what you deal with. So one big thing to avoid doing is thinking something is wrong with me. I'm not like everyone else. I'm not normal. Okay, me, I struggle with that, because anytime I've gone through a long period of right now, like depression, which isn't long for me because it started right at the beginning of the month. I've gone through months, like 2 and 3 months where I'm in isolation. But when it starts to get like, okay, I need to be coming out of this soon, I go into, oh my gosh, something's wrong with me. I probably need to go see a doctor. I probably need to get my medication switched. You can go see your doctor if you're in really bad shape, but just having anxiety about how you're doing, that's not really anything to cause you too much worry, because like I said, it's normal. Now, if you start having suicidal thoughts, or you start, having other issues that aren't healthy, like you're not eating or you're just eating way too much, maybe consult. But like I said, the first thing that you need to do is be aware of it. You can be anxious and not know that you have anxiety. You could be depressed for whatever reason for however long and not know that you have depression. So first thing is first, if you do not already have a counselor that you see, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, you need to find someone. If you find that it is interrupting your daily routine frequently, like on a frequent basis, not like I've done this and I felt a little upset for 2 days. Nah, that's something else, dog. You need to go do something else about that. But if you're having like periods of time that are, long, and you have this behavior that happens, frequently, you need to go see someone about that. So another thing that I deal with is I have CPTSD, which is the difference between CPTSD and PTSD, if you did not know, is CPTSD is usually onset during childhood, and it is a recurrent series of trauma. So a little different than PTSD. PTSD can be caused in adults. I mean, there's no specific origin for it, but from one traumatic experience. CPTSD is a reoccurring trauma that you've experienced as a child, and you don't know how to compartmentalize it upstairs because you weren't equipped with the skills to deal with it as a kid, and you don't really think about it now. So my thing with that is that also plays into everything that I have going on upstairs, is that I blow a lot of things more out of proportion than does my anxiety alone. So I have relationships that are very unstable in my mind, and they're scary in my mind, and for good reason. It makes sense, but all stemmed because of things that I experienced as a kid, which, if you see those same relationships, you're like, it's not that bad, and this person is trying, but my mind won't let me get to that point all the time. So I have a thing with not being able to hold on to relationships for long periods of time, because I actually have this, this broken trust that I got. I'm not crying, I just have the sniffles, that I got from my experience as a kid. So I'm actually very distant from a lot of people. I'm really good at being outgoing and super friendly. And if you've ever met me in person, I'm a clown. I make jokes, all that stuff. But when it comes to maintaining relationships, it's so hard for me. And I'm talking about we were really close and we did this and this together and we were good friends. I will fall off the face of the earth for long periods of time and will not know how to recover, because I just don't hold relationships very well. I don't know how else to say that. I've got a friend right now who I love to pieces, and ever since I moved away from my home when I met her, I haven't really been as close with her. And yes, we've grown apart and I love her to death still to this day, but I just have a very hard time sending her a message or calling her, because now it's been so long and it would be out of the blue and just really awkward for me, and possibly even flare up an anxiety attack. That's how big of a deal certain things are to me. So if you are somebody that I have spent an immense amount of time with and you have not heard from me in a while, I do love you and I'm sorry. I really don't have an excuse for it. It just is what it is. And if, I haven't talked to you, don't think that I'm mad. I'm not mad or anything. I just go through this shit very regularly. So there's that. But I want to know, what are some of the misconceptions that you guys hear about mental illness, or some of the stereotypes? Stereotypes generally are more so true, not always, but they do have some truth to them. But just because people can find themselves to fit in a box doesn't mean that every piece of them fits in a box. I'm actually a very introverted person, but guess what? If I'm out and about, and not out and about, but if I'm making the I don't know, if I'm pushing the issue of being out with friends, or I'm out with friends, or I go out on a meetup or stuff, I am the life of the party. I always have been. But guess what? That life of the party is draining to me. So I come back home and, you know, even without mental illness, I come back home, I chill. It refreshes me. Now, when it gets into I'm isolating myself, that is also draining, but that's another story. And, you know, that whole idea of people with anxiety are always jumpy and on edge 100% of the time, or just that image that you get. I have severe anxiety, and I have several different anxiety disorders. And yes, I'm very jumpy with loud noises, with things that come unexpected, but I'm also cool as a cucumber sometimes. So just try not to, for my people who, you know, are just here for information, try not to box people in whatever regard it is, whether it comes to mental health, whether it comes to gender, race, none of that. Always be open-minded, because when you're open-minded and you're just genuine with people, you'll find that a lot of the conceptions that you have in your head about certain people is wrong, or it might be true to an extent, but not as true as you thought it was. So keep that in mind when you are, you know, around people, because that's always a good thing to have, is good relationships with people that are meaningful, because people, I mean, we're packed people, you know. That didn't make any sense. We're people that don't get anywhere by doing things alone. We have groups, and we have groups that help us and support us and all of that stuff. So don't, you know, like I said, don't put people in a box, because nobody can stay in a box. So that's all I have to say. If you guys have any questions or answers, because I like answers, I don't know to what, I just like answers and information, comment them down below. If you want to see a specific video from me, service dog training, service dog stuff, mental illness, migraines, whatever it is, comment it below, or you can DM me on Instagram, off of Bronx's Instagram, which is at theimperfectsd. I will keep a little log of the videos that you guys want to see and get around to making them, instead of just coming up with stuff that I think you want to see. I want to know what you want to see, and I will do my best to get working on that. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you have not already, like and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be looking for more feedback so I can put more content out. So turn on your post notifications too, so that you guys will be notified when I create another video, or when I post another video. So with all the love in the world, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. And we're back, because I forgot to mention, I always want you to remember, we're imperfect and we like it. See you guys.